Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Terry, and this is Galactic Gaia. I should have changed my name.
Ah,
Welcome to Galactic Gaia. Thanks for being here. And today we're talking about letting go of emotions, specifically fear, anger, resentment, things we're told to let go of so we can ascend and help everybody around us ascend. So we hear that all the time. If you want to ascend, if you want to go to the next dimension, you got to let go of fear, anger, resentment, and become more heart centered. But nobody gives you a map or tells you how to do it. So we're just going to discuss that today on the different ways that we can get rid of those emotions. And Terry, I'd let you.
yeah. Well, this is so timely, this releasing and letting go of control. And I think that's a huge part of it is we think that if we listen to all the news that we can control it. We think that if we stare at our children or our spouse or a partner or whatever, we can control it, right? And so we take on all that energy outside us when for me, I feel like the most important thing is to go into our heart center and how we feel about things and really connect with your inner self because it's all about us, as in me or you, right?
Right. Looking externally for the cause, look internally for the cause.
Oh, that's so good. Very impressive. I like that. Is that in one of your books?
No, it's not one of my books. I just came up with it.
Oh my God, that's so perfect. That's so perfect. So
Always
that's
stuff like that comes out of my mouth when the information starts coming in. Like I've got somebody moving my lips almost.
right. Yeah, yeah, and that's a huge part of it is coming in and connecting with
Right.
energy. And when we're in the flow like that, like you are right now, right, which you it just comes out of you, then you're really living your life in what's called your dharma or your highest self, your highest path.
Right.
So,
Well, there are a couple of things, and I checked with Chat GPT to help me out on this. Hey, Isabel, thanks for being here. Thanks
hi,
for
Isabel.
stop fighting the emotion. It says the first step isn't getting rid of the like fear or the emotion; it's recognizing it.
Yeah.
I noticed my fear. I noticed my resentment. I noticed um, my whatever. Yeah. So it's noticing it because when you resist the emotion, it often becomes stronger. So when we acknowledge it without judgment, it begins to lose some of its grip, which is true. Because anytime you know how something happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and all of a sudden it crops up. You don't know where that came from, and it's so petty that you're still holding some kind of resentment to it that you're laughing at yourself that here it is again. Oh, my sister said that 20 years ago, and, and he never said anything back. But I think it's amazing how that stuff comes up. And if we start recognizing it when it's there, I think if we can get rid of it instantly, we're not going to hold on to it.
Yeah, that's profound. Really witnessing things as they come in and kind of processing it by just being present to it. And there's so many different ways to do that. Like, do you want me to talk about that yet, or am I
Yeah, because
jumping in
the
there?
next one's another big category that we're going to have
Okay.
for a while.
Oh,
So, yeah, go ahead and that.
okay. A really good tool to be present in your flow and your spirit is to go into your body presence, which
Oh,
we
that's
think,
the next category.
oh, well,
The next
obviously,
category. Notice where it's held in your body.
100%, man. If you can go into your body, and it's an old Vedic tool, and it's if you go to a hospital with anxiety attacks, often they use this as well. It's like sometimes they do the 5 4 3 2 1 with going into your senses. I like going 5 5 5 5 5.
And let people know what that is. Who
Okay, and that is name 5 things that you can see in your room around you. Name 5 things you can smell, 5 things you can taste, 5 things that you can feel, 5 things that you can hear. And then I take it one farther, a couple farther usually, obviously.
you need more.
go into your subtle senses. When we go into our subtle senses, then it awakens our intuition.
Mhm.
And that makes you become more present and more spirit, um, more in touch with your own spirit, not anybody else's, but your higher self. And so remembering, like, I remember the light. I remember why I'm here. I remember what I'm here to do. And it's when we go into these things, and then knowing and love and gratitude
Well,
and
yeah, I like that you use the hospital as an example, because for you and for others, as fear, for me, I'm in control. I step a foot in the hospital and I'm in control, no matter
yeah,
what's going on with me, because I know what's happening. So,
with
um,
good reason, because you worked in a hospital
right.
for so many
Because
years, so you're
well, yeah, so put me in something different. A hospital setting wouldn't be the one, because I do feel in control. I'll be the one saying, I don't know about that. But anyway, with these feelings that you're talking about, you ask people, where do you feel the fear, or where do you feel what the resentment, or where do you feel the anger? And is your chest tight? Is your stomach flipping around? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your throat? Notice where it is. And I think this didn't go into that, but I think this is a perfect example of looking at your chakras, where you can pick up a stone or open it or concentrate on the chakra that's aligned with that body part.
100%. And I think when we go into the healing center, um, that this is a big part of, I know I do it, and I think you do it too. Like, if you feel something in your solar plexus,
Right.
it can be ancestral, it can be past life, it can be a learned behavior even, or something that you've brought with you. If you go into your throat chakra, a lot of times it's what you can't say to others, or somebody might have stopped your voice.
Right.
And so really, it's so important where we feel things in our body.
Right. And I
Yeah.
found out where my voice had been stopped was in a past life, which I had
Yeah.
to do some shamanic journeys to find that out. So,
Well, and that we've got as women, or maybe you identify with something in your life, or I mean, culturally, there's so many different ways that
right.
our voices have been stopped in this culture right now, and that's all changing. So that huge shift, of course, that's going to come up.
Yes. So, but I want to go back to you going into, you had mentioned before that this was a perfect thing for you because you had an MRI done this week, and you had
Yeah.
to let go of a lot. Like for me, going in to do an MRI, again, it's a hospital setting. I'm in control. I know what's going on, but it's not true for everyone. So
Yeah.
tell us a little
And
bit about letting go of, was it fear that you were going through when you were going in that, or just out of control?
Well, I climbed into I climbed into the situation thinking, because it was chest down, because it was I'm in a high risk group at my care facility or hospital, whatever, and so they do regular stuff for me, and this is something regular that I've never had before. And so I was face down, which I stepped into, and I thought, oh, this is kind of like child's pose in yoga. This is great. But then about 10, 20 minutes into it, I'm like, oh, yeah, my shoulder's kind of pinching. And, I had him play my favorite music, David Permel, Mitten, Gayatri Mantra started it off. But that kind of wore off, right? And then I had to start I couldn't really do a lot of breath work in there, because they don't want you to do too much breath
Yeah.
work. You want to be still. So I was counting backwards. That's a huge one to help you if you're going into fear and kind of going into anxiety. And the other thing is that's huge, and this is something that we've talked about, I think, before, is changing your story.
Right.
Like, am I sitting here? Am I trapped? Or am I master of my own world, in essence? Like, this is all just a figment of our imagination, or a construct, perhaps, while we're here, and we can call in all our angels. So, me, I call in 33 trillion, because why stop with one?
Well,
But I had Metatron climb in with me.
Well, I was going to say Metatron. The trick is Metatron can fast forward. He is in charge of time.
And it was over as soon
Yeah.
as Metatron came in. Yeah,
Right.
you're right. You're right. And changing the situation there and changing the situation with your throat chakra, with your solar plexus, and healing that, it changes the past and it changes the future.
Right.
So huge, huge thing.
Okay. And that is the other thing. Separate the past from the present. Recognize inside the past, like, yes, my sister said that to me 10 years ago. Why am I now thinking about this? Because I didn't say anything back to her. I just went, it's not worth it. It wasn't worth it then. It's certainly not worth it carrying it around now.
And now you're probably looking at all those situations in a different manner.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's constantly evolving for everybody. But I'm finding really great opportunities right now to look at situations with family, friends, my kids, everybody, that it's like, oh, yeah, that is, they are completely where they need to be. And I wasn't, at this point, I can be very, very conscientious of being not humble. What's a good word for that?
I would say you just more recognizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And really going into their energy, like, this is what feels good for them. And it helps me to give them what feels good for them.
Yeah, because I've been saying that for years. When you're going into a family situation, is pull yourself out and be an observer instead of being in it. Pretend like you're above them, looking down and seeing how you're interacting with these people, and look at on your way how you're reacting to them, and you can see yourself being a little cray at the moment, and you can back out of it, because
right,
being above yourself, looking at how you're acting, helps you put it into perspective.
Yeah, there's also that thing when you say that, taking yourself out of the situation. They show me all the time that they're watching us and saying,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, look at her, look at them, look at him, look at what they're doing. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh!" And it doesn't matter if you're really screwing something up bad or if you're
You're just
doing
doing
something amazing. They're just so excited for us, and then join them up there and see what it feels like, right?
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm not really joining them. I have joined them about that, but usually I just looking at it from my own lens, seeing how that looks from above,
Yeah.
like you're looking at a soap opera or
Right.
or TV show or whatever. But sometimes you can pull yourself about the situation and just think, "Oh wow, look at you! Why did you even say that? It wasn't even worth it. That was mean." Those kind of things. You can look at yourself like that. So I'm really good about that now. We're going into any kind of situation about
Yeah.
being immersed in it, is pulling myself out and seeing how I am acting.
Yeah, and I think part of that, I think the words I was searching for were humility, looking at things with humility, but also with equanimity, and really going into heart centered, feeling things is the way to do it, man. And if you go and take that a step further and go into your high heart, your
Mhm.
divine source,
Right.
that takes it to a totally different level.
Well, we're just going to try to get to heart center and trying to figure out how to get there and to let go of these emotions right now. We have to take
Yeah.
one step at a time, because, as I said, what sparked me on this was we've been saying this for years. You got to let go of fear, resentment, anger before you can move up to 5D and join these other heart-centered people. But nobody gives you a plan. Nobody gives you a roadmap. They just tell you to do it. And we do so many things like that we say, you've got to do this, but figure it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's easy to kind of get worried, like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not going to make it. And like, where was it? We had like some big day. I can't remember. It was a year or two ago when I woke up in the morning and I looked around my room and I'm like, dang, I think everybody else made it to 5D but me. But there are so there is that, and knowing that you're right exactly where you need to be, and you don't have to control it, you don't have to worry about it. a big thing for me too, and this is another trauma cue that we can use is changing the whole story.
Right.
And what does this feel like? And be honest with ourselves when we do it, and changing the story instead of, well, they just said something to me and it really hurt my feelings. Instead, we can look at what they said and think, gosh, they're really on a different path than I am.
Right.
And we can call them every kind of name we want too in that.
And it's here too. It's choosing not to let another person's actions continue to control your emotional life.
Yeah. Yeah. And Isabel's talking about that. She says, I started set boundaries that helps me in gratitude. If this is a game, I can control the outcome.
That's good.
Isabel, amazing. Yeah. It's so true.
Being in gratitude. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's easy to say. It's just not always easy to practice. Getting better and better at it.
Yeah. And we see these people in our lives, right? Like I remember there was this guy, we've got this really cute area called the Plaza in Kansas City. And it's a very upscale shopping district, but they've got everything, right? For everybody. And there was this guy that used to walk down there and he would make all these motions while he was walking. Well, now I know he was doing light language, right?
Yeah.
But he had, and I always thought, well, that's interesting, but everybody would wave at him. And he was walking in his light. Like you see people like that and they're in their light and in their joy. And that is a state of being. It's not an emotion. And when we go into that state of being, and I've seen other people, like I had somebody in St. Louis, this woman, and she would dress up every day as a fairy or as a bunny or whatever. And she would walk on this main street and just wave at everybody. And everybody loved her. And it was like she was in her joy. And we don't have to do all that. Like there's so many different ways that we can do it. But I feel like a lot of people here have that already.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a big one. Spend less time consuming fear, which would be watching these different shows, watching the media. And it says, and a simple exercise I'm getting here. I'm going past that because we talk about that all the time. Quit looking at all these things that are getting you in fear or flight or whatever. But a simple exercise is invite everyone to close their eyes. Think of one fear, one resentment, or one anger you've been carrying. Don't judge it, just notice it. And then take deep breaths and let it go. Ask yourself, what is the emotion trying to teach me? And then now imagine placing that emotion into a stream of light and let it go.
That's huge. And I want to take that one step farther. There's something called the pot of sorrow or the bucket or the urn. And it's one of my favorite things. Oh, I got it right here in front of me somewhere. Anyway, but there's this card in this old Doreen Virtue deck that I have. And it's an angel holding an urn. And it's about releasing. So we put all this stuff. We have a bucket and we carry like all our stuff, everybody else's stuff, the politics. We carry, your dishwasher is broken. I mean, we get it really, really big. But you can imagine physically releasing it and dumping out your bucket every night or once a week or on a full moon. And just releasing everything. And there are going to be times that you want to compost something, perhaps. Like, I want to sit with this for a little bit. Yeah. It's like, I'm not sure I'm ready to release this yet. And be honest with yourself. Maybe it's not time for you to release it. Maybe it's grief and you need to process it. And it's part of your storyline in this lifetime. And we need to process it and like, oh, how do I feel about this? This is really heavy. Where does it hurt? And what am I learning through this? So.
All right. Well, here is the ending of this talk, which is nice. It says, ascension isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing what keeps us from expressing who we truly are. Fear, anger, and resentment are not signs that we've failed. They're invitations to heal. Every time we respond with awareness instead of reaction, we take another step towards becoming our most authentic selves.
Mm, that's huge. Reaction is a huge one, isn't it?
Right.
Um, yeah, and it's so easy to react instead of. There's that beautiful Buddhist monk. I think she's Caucasian. But you guys know who she is. Anyway, she wrote a book on this, on social discourse. And we can all find something to relate to each other on, whether it's love of family or love of the sunshine or a tree or whatever, right?
Talk about the weather or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was with a good friend this past week, and she was talking about this with her husband. Her husband loves to fish and do things on the river. And there's a lot, it's a very conservative area, but there are no politics on the river. Nobody cares about that.
Good.
And I thought that's a beautiful way to look at that we don't have to hold on to those things when we're on the river. So, and that's our flow, right?
Yes.
Viviani.
Yeah, Viviani. I was going to say, Eckhart Tolle, looked at what he said about, he says, you cut the link between thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
You become aware of your thinking, you realize it, and then you realize it's old thinking, and that old thinking equals pain. So you have to figure out if you're feeding an old feeling and a narrative, and then have you been keeping it alive for years, and there's no purpose except for making you unhappy. So you need to cut those the threads between those feelings and your thinking. Now, I thought that's great, but I still left me going, okay, that's how I reacted to it. I mean, it's great, but I was just not real sure how realistic, because we always talk about cutting cords and how we all should be cutting cords and getting rid of these things. But those cords go back until you do some more work to get rid of it. That just.
Yeah. There's so much involved with it. We can have slashes and chakras, energy slashes, and we work with that sometimes. So looking at that, like, are you always drained? You might be very, very intuitive. You might be really getting a lot done, but you're drained every day. And that's often a slash in your root chakra, and a mother wound perhaps, or a father wound, which might have something to do with your crown chakra. So there's all sorts of different ways of looking at that. Yeah. But it is the pain body, like Eckhart talks about, is really important in going into that. But how we can do that, there's and everybody's so different. We talked about that before we came on too. Like, the right way for you that you perceive it is going to be completely different from me. So there is no right or wrong way. It might be, and so many of you here have beautiful things that you do at full moon, when you release.
Whereas one thing that I've not seen anywhere is that there's professionals that can help with this.
Oh, yeah.
That you might need, you might not on your own, you might not go into that pain. You might not be able to do it by yourself. You might need somebody holding your hand to take that journey into that pain, or because you'll keep avoiding it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need a professional to help you go through those things.
Yeah. Yeah. A professional. And there's medicines, there's plant medicines, there's all sorts of different things. I mean, you be your own guide, and definitely, talk to your doctor if you want to too about that. But I think that many of these things were made by spirit in a direction that, we invented them. And where did that idea come from? So I don't think everything's all or nothing. There's many different ways for many different people.
Yes. Okay. Anything else, Terry? I think that's it for today.
I think that's it. This was impressive. Thank you, Isabel, for being here. And thank you, Viviani.
All right,
and everybody else that comes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.